Dr. Mindy here, and for those of you that don't know me, what I specialize in is helping people reset their health. So when I go and I sit down with a patient that's really stuck, whether it's physically stuck or mentally stuck in their life, what I look at is really toxins from all parts of our life. I look at toxins in our environment, toxins in their food, but I also look at toxins that are accumulating in their thought process. So what I want to do today is share with you a lecture that I gave my patients actually last night. There was a group of us that were together and we were talking about how do you create a positive mind. And what I want to do is share with you 7 things you can do to keep your mind focused in a positive direction. So the things that you need to know are there are 2 major parts of your brain that control positivity. The first part is called your prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex of your brain, this is where goals will be. You can think up goals. This is where you can make really good decisions for yourself. This is where behavior, most of behavior, your behavior will happen with this part of use of this part of your brain. This is hope. So you want a lot of stimulation of the prefrontal cortex. But there's this other part of your brain called the hippocampus, and it's way deep in your brain. And the hippocampus has all the long-term memory, so it remembers every time you got hurt, it remembers every time you failed. It has this memory stored in there, and its #1 job is to make sure that you stay safe. So when you think up a new idea, like I used the example last night that I'm going to go plant a garden this weekend at my house. And my prefrontal cortex is super excited about that. It's like, oh my God, the garden's going to be great, and I can see all the vegetables I'm going to grow, and this is going to be wonderful. And then the hippocampus part of my brain says, well, you've planted gardens before. It was much more difficult than you thought it would be. You killed everything. It was a pain to water. All the problems that I had with that particular garden started to show up. So I found these 2 situations battling, or 2 parts of my brain battling each other. And I know for a lot of you guys, you're experiencing the same thing. You want to move your life in a positive direction, but you have too much memory of the past that feels like it's holding you back. So there are 7 ways you can get this part, the prefrontal cortex, to really accelerate and heighten, and you can dampen down your hippocampus. So here are the 7 ways. So the first is you got to hang around positive people. I know you've probably heard this before, but you become like the 5 people you hang around the most, you will start to think like them. So if those people are saying negative things over and over and over again, you're going to start to take on their thoughts. It is very, very difficult to override negative people. So you've got to take yourself out of negative environments and get yourself in positive environments. How many positive environments can you get into? So in the morning, before you even go out for your day, can you ask yourself, how many positive environments am I going to put myself in today so that I can line my brain up, my prefrontal cortex, with seeing a positive life, okay? Second thing, for most adults, we have stopped dreaming. So with this group I was talking to last night, we decided to set intentions. So for 10 minutes every morning, what we're going to do is we're going to close our eyes, everybody does it on their own, and we're just going to say, if today was the best day possible, what would that look like? How could today be the best day it ever was? And you can even look at, like, what if I could draw my life any way I wanted to draw my life without any limitations, what would that look like? That's what it's like to dream. Most of you guys aren't doing it. Take 10 minutes a day, and the more you do it, the more you're going to grow the prefrontal cortex. Okay? Third thing, every time and my mind does this, I'm speaking from experience. I've really worked on conditioning my mindset, but every time you start to end up down a rabbit hole where you're like, if this happens, then this is going to happen, and if this happens, then that's going to happen, and you start to go down the worst case scenario, what you've got to do is stop yourself in that moment. You need a pattern interrupt. You need a cancel. Just what I do in my brain is I say cancel, and I ask myself, what would be the best scenario that could happen in this situation? So if you're having a conflict with somebody, if you're in an argument, if you have a stressful situation, you just don't see a way out, just stop for a minute and ask yourself, how could this actually go right? Instead of trying to prepare for the worst or think about the worst, think about the best and see how that works. Okay, fourth, play. Get out, move around, play. I read actually a really interesting article online that juggling will start to affect your prefrontal cortex and can actually grow your prefrontal cortex. So if you're not getting enough play, you're not laughing with people, get out of your serious mode and get out into the world and become more playful. Get your hands in dirt. Do something, go dance, do something silly. Dance in your own house. Put on some funny music or some upbeat music and just get out of the serious mode of life. Okay, fifth thing, and I absolutely love this. There is current research that's coming out of New Zealand that's showing when you get a chiropractic adjustment, it increases the stimulation in your prefrontal cortex by 20%. I'm going to put a link in the comment section so you can go and read that article. So those of you going to a chiropractor, get to your chiropractor. If you are feeling stuck and you feel like I am not able, I'm doing all these things and I can't really be able to point myself in the right direction, go get an adjustment. It is one of the greatest gifts to the prefrontal cortex that you can possibly do so that you can move your life in a better direction. Okay, sixth thing, you feeling sorry about yourself? The hippocampus is telling you that your life sucks and you got to stay safe? Get out of yourself and go help somebody. Serve people. When you serve people, the stimulation of this prefrontal cortex is insane. So if you're not appreciating where you are in life, one of the best things you can do is stop thinking about yourself and start helping others. Think about how great you feel after you've given somebody even like a helpful tip. Or if you're in your car, this is a really easy one to do. Instead of driving ahead and making sure nobody gets in front of you, what if you just let somebody get in front of you? What if you did something nice for somebody? And just any little random act of kindness will stimulate the prefrontal cortex. And then the last one, get up and move. Exercise, yoga, whatever it is. Get out and move your body. Too many of you are sitting, and as you sit, you slow down cerebral spinal fluid to the brain. You dampen down the prefrontal cortex. If you're sitting at the computer and you're watching the news, if you're sitting on your couch watching the news and you're getting all the negativity into your brain, what you're doing is you're feeding your hippocampus and you're telling your hippocampus, keep me safe, keep me safe, keep me safe. And you're dampening down the prefrontal cortex. It's very difficult to have a positive life when you're not moving and you're listening to negativity. So this is a muscle. You have to train it. Every time you get under stress, your body's going to go back to that hippocampus. So you got to really work hard to strengthen the prefrontal cortex. So I hope that helps. What I'd love to know from you guys, which one of these turns your positive muscle on the fastest? Those of you, a lot of you have been applying the techniques that I've been teaching. So which one of these is the fastest turnaround for your mood? I'd love to know. So hope that helps. Have an awesome weekend and get out and play. Hang around positive people and you'd be amazed how instantly your life will change.